Hello. I thought I would do a reading vlog. Chrissy's Purple Library. She is doing a book club right now, A Time to Die. I've never read anything by this author, Nadine Brandes, so I'm really interested in that. So I will have all of my thoughts and my reactions. Let's get going. I find it interesting. So this girl, she's 17. She knows when she's supposed to die. She's supposed to carry this clock around. So I find that interesting. It's only the first chapter, so it's really just like building up the story. Let's keep going. This is kind of giving Hunger Games or Divergent. It's kind of the impression I'm getting. So like she's apparently a triplet, so she just ran into a triplet. She has their third triplet died at birth. So they're given a time, and I don't know how they get their clocks, but I wonder if that's what God sees. That's an interesting thought. Moving on. So, okay, they're triplets, and they were given one clock, and it has an end date, but they don't know whose it is. They don't know if it's hers or her brother's, and one of the two, whichever one is the surviving person, become a radical with no clock. So how do you become a radical? Do you choose to be a radical? So all they know, like this is in the 8th page, all they know is that we don't know which one will die. This is intriguing me. Well, I just finished the first chapter. It's got me intrigued, for sure. It's got me intrigued. Another thing that I found interesting, the idea of time. Like, she's always counting time. She's like, I've wasted 15 minutes talking about something I don't want to talk about. Her mom even knows when her end time is, and her mom's like, you just wasted 17 years, and now what? I mean, I was like, wow, that's kind of rude. So it kind of started with not the most pleasant relationship with her mom. That's my first impression. But so far, like, I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I want to read more, but I'm going to put it aside for now because I've got other things to do. So that's all I'm able to do at the moment. So those are my thoughts for now. Hello, friends. So I am back, and Parvin said, well, I want to write my own biography. So when she brought this up to her mentor was like, this can't be done. You have to have somebody else do this for you. And she's like, why can't I do it for myself? So she brings this up to her family, and her mom said, but Parvin, you don't exactly have an interesting story to tell. You led a very calm life. Calm to be kind, I suppose. But I'm just like, wow. So they're like, well, what are you going to talk about? Like growing up in a Christian home, it's like, well, what's my testimony? What do I have to talk about? And so that kind of, in a way, reinforces like, well, what's your testimony? What do you have to talk about? You've had a very calm life. So that can be a testimony itself. And that's kind of what she was saying. Her family were opposed to it. They were not supportive at all. They were critical of that idea. Yeah, that's what I got so far. I am back. I just finished chapter 5 of A Time to Die. My thoughts right now is it's got me wanting more. I want to read more. I want to binge this. I've got more questions. I'm more curious on this book than anything. And at the end of the chapter I just read, her mom was frazzled when she came home. Okay. The main character came home and her mom was frazzled. For clarification. And she mentioned that her mom is never frazzled. And she was alarmed. And then, so I mentioned that this is a spoiler video. So at the end of this chapter, mom said, Reed's train derailed. That's it. So I will be reading more. This is my day off. I will be reading more. However, I can't binge it yet because I have to finish Unsinkable first. But this video is not about Unsinkable. This is about A Time to Die. So stay tuned. We'll see how this goes. I am very curious. I am finding that I can relate to her in a lot of ways. And so far, I'm really liking this book. According to Goodreads, I'm like 13% through, not very far. So I'm about to start chapter 6. The other thing I like about this book is that these chapters are fairly short, which I also like. I don't like a very long chapter because it just seems to drag on. Like I need a break there. So that's another thing that I like about this book. So we will see the rest. All right, I'm back. So it's been a few days since I've been able to update on the book. I believe I'm on chapter 9. A lot has happened. She had her book basically redone, and Skelly was telling her like, okay, so you have to go over the wall and then you'll come back and I'll make you famous. And she's like, no, I don't want to go over the wall. So he's like, okay, your other option is we just gotta redo everything in your book. She's like, redo everything? So they worked on that, and she was actually pretty proud of the work that was done. Then he brought her to a room and betrayed her. And she's like, what just happened? So then she's taken to trial as a radical. Some people spoke for her. Like there was this kid that she didn't like in school, and he said, she was in school with me. I can vouch for her. And then she's like, where's my family? Where are my parents? Where's my mom of all people? Her dad spoke up and he said, I can vouch for her. Like I've seen her clock. But she's thinking like, yeah, but also tell them that I'm your daughter. That's all her dad did. He didn't do anything else. So I just felt like her dad could have done more. And he just stood by and let them abuse her in front of everybody. Well, she's got a lot going on. So they took her to a cell. She doesn't have a bed to sleep on. She doesn't have a blanket. She doesn't have anything. Nothing comfortable. She's hungry. And this was really pathetic, I thought. But in the book, she's saying that she's so hungry, like her stomach is growling. So she feeds her stomach her tears. Like she keeps crying and she's swallowing her tears to feed her stomach. So I thought that was an odd phrase, but I also thought it was rather pathetic So then her mom shows up and she's like, "Where were you? Where were you when I needed you the most?" And it seems like her mom was in on it. So now I'm wondering what what is her mom's history? What is her dad's history? And did Reed know? Is that why Reed was pushing her to get her story published? What does Reed know? And why was he pushing her? So lots to learn, lots to learn. So I am really intrigued and I want to keep going. Hi, friends. So it occurred to me that I have not been keeping up with the dates. So I started this book June 14th, and today is now June 20th. So I'm here to update. It's been a few days now. I just haven't had a chance to update, but it's getting really good. She's on the other side of the wall now, and there's one thing. I can't remember if it was like a thought that she had or if it was like a journal entry. But anyways, she said, "God, all I have is you." Like literally everything was stripped from her and she's forced to, like, she is in a position where she has to depend on God. Like God is her strength, God is her guide, he's her protector, everything. And I really like this journey that we're going on with this book. I like that she's being taken to a place of solitude, and she is crying out to God and saying, "God, help me, feed me, protect me, sustain me, everything." And that is how it should be. I love that. And this is really encouraging me so far. So I think this is going to be a 5 star for me. So I am now at the part where, so she meets, like, she had a so-called friend, messaged her on I forgot what it's called, but it's a messaging system that she has on her device. So he is helping her, and I think he's on the other side of the wall with her, that we just discovered. So this is getting, I mean, this is crazy. There's a lot of things going on with this book. So I'm really interested to keep going. I'm having a lot of fun with this book. I really like connections and I like that everything has been stripped away from her. And literally everything is God. All she is depending on is God. And I kind of feel like this is timely for me because this is where my season is right now too. Like I feel like I'm in a hard season. Recently God was speaking to me about having seasons of, like, boring seasons. You're not always going to be on a mountaintop, and how God is always there even though it doesn't feel like it. So I feel like this is speaking to my soul right now and I really need it. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to go in to Starbucks for my monthly coffee. I treat myself to a coffee once a month and I just sit and read. Drink my coffee, sit and read a book and enjoy myself. We'll be doing my reactions from there and I'll see you then. Bye. Well, I am done. I got about 19 pages read. All I can say is this is getting good. I'm still caught up on the, like, everything is being stripped away from her. She doesn't trust anybody. I don't blame her because she doesn't know anyone, and she had her hand chopped off all of a sudden. So she found a tribe of albinos and they worship plants. If you purposely take like a branch off a tree, bark off a tree, even pluck a flower off the ground, you have to sacrifice a limb. So they were going to take, I think they were going to take from the elbow down, and then some of them sacrificed like a finger or a toe. So then she only sacrificed a hand. And she's like, I didn't ask for this. I don't live in your law. I'm not from here. So she's angry. She's upset. She doesn't trust anybody. I feel like that's very true for a lot of things that happen in life. Like, we could lose a job. Like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to lose this job. I mean, you fill in the blank. I didn't ask for fill in the blank. I have a feeling this is going to get better. There was a point in one of the chapters that I read that she's really skeptical of every person that she's coming across. And she said, I don't know if I can trust this person. How do I even know that I can trust Hawk? And she said, God, show me who I can trust. I can only trust you. And that's how it should be. So this is really encouraging, just to like keep seeking God out and crying out to God and asking for help and asking him to protect and to show us the way. So yeah, I'm really liking this so far. This is great. I'm almost halfway through it. I just want to sit down and binge, but I've got other things to do, so I won't be able to completely binge all the way, but we'll see how much I can get done in these 2 days off that I've got coming up. So, all right, we'll follow up. All right, so it is June 22nd, so I'm back for another reaction update. I have finished chapter 24, and so there's some things that I really like that were mentioned in this chapter. And Jude mentions that they're on a pilgrimage, and Parvin asks, what is that? And he explains that it's a quest to something sacred. And in the next line, she said, a quest to shalom. And I really liked that. And this seems like a more modern or like a dystopian version of Pilgrim's Progress, which I really like. I like the correlation between the two books or the two stories. It just seems similar to the story. So that's one thing. I feel like that's how life is maybe that's what caught my attention, because life is like a pilgrimage. It's a quest, something sacred. And we're on that quest now. I find Jude is becoming more interesting. I found it interesting that he has music playing in his head. Like he had it surgically inserted in his head. I'm curious how that is. He also has a tattoo that's moving up and down his arm. I don't know if it's like primarily up and down his arm, or if it's like across his shoulders. I don't know, but I know it's like up and down his arm for sure, which is also strange. And he said, I can't imagine life without sound. And that's so that's that's so parallel to how life is right now too. We're so surrounded by noise, by devices, that I've heard so many people say, like, I can't live with silence. And Parvin even said, like, it's not silence. Like, you hear the birds, you hear the bugs, you hear the wind, you hear the leaves rustling. There's no, it's not silent. I don't remember his response to that, but I really like what she had to say about that, that it's not silence. It's you have a lot of things to listen to that God has offered, that God has created for you to listen to and reflect on. And he's drowning that out. We are drowning that, whoops, we're drowning that out with noise, with sound, with devices, with other things that are distracting from us having a relationship with God, or us having, like, hearing from God. And like it says in, I believe it's in First Kings, when Elijah, like, he's not in the wind, he's not in the fire, he's not in the storm. He was in that still small voice. And when we quiet down every all of the noise that's surrounding us, we hear him in the silence. We hear him in the still small voice. So I like where this is going. Yeah, this is really good. So I will keep you updated. All right, so today is June 23rd. I've gotten through quite a bit. I was hoping to finish it. I've got probably about 50 pages left, so we're getting to the end. We're getting to some answers here. She met with the preacher. He's creepy. He creeps me out. But one thing was stated when she met with the priest? Is he the priest or the preacher? Whatever. But he creeps me out. But she was disappointed. It was very disappointing from that meeting, and he's saying, like, life is worthless, it's meaningless. She realized after that she went to a human, went to man to give her answers that she was looking for when she needed to go to God. And that's how many times have we done that? Have we turned to our friends or people who we talk to, man, and their wisdom or lack thereof, instead of turning to God? And like we find ourselves disappointed. That's what I got from that. There's a lot going on with Jude. There's a lot going on with Parvin. I almost forgot her name. There's a lot going on. So it's interesting to see how this plays out. I am curious, now that we're getting closer to the end, I'm curious if Hawk is actually Jude and Hawk is pretending to not be. I don't know. Who is Hawk? I mean, she says she knows who Hawk is, but does she really? Because he's been sending her messages. I'm just wondering, because, like, all of a sudden he knows Jude, and he sends Jude to her, knows exactly where she is, and it's curious. So we'll see. I'm very curious. That's what's going through. That's what I'm curious about on this story. So we'll see in the last 50 pages. I will report back. All right, so I finished the book. I am very happy with the story. I'm very happy with how it ended. I love the parallels, I guess you could say, between real life and the story. I mean, for example, I've used it earlier. They cut her hand off, and she was angry and upset about it. And why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be upset about losing your hand? And she had to figure out how to live life without her hand. I mean, I realized, I mean, it got me thinking about times where I've been disappointed, times where things didn't go the way that I planned, or they went a different direction and I had to reroute. And in this case, in her case, she had to figure out how to live life with one hand, how to how to walk a tightrope, how to crawl with one hand. And I know tightrope is you walk on it, but she doesn't know how to tightrope. So she had to figure out a different way to do that. And the whole time she's asking God for help, and he's saying, "Trust me." And I love the just the simplicity of her reaching out to God and asking God for help. I I also like I don't like the priest or the preacher. He was really creepy, but I do like that. I mean, in any normal circumstance, we what do? We tend to turn to human knowledge and walk away disappointed. And that's what happened. She walked away disappointed, and she realized she needed to turn to God. Why did she turn to this priest or this preacher when she needed the answers from God? Um, God gently guided her, and he gently let her make these decisions. There were a lot of things that she did and a lot of decisions that she made that I was like, oh my gosh, girl. There was a lot of growing up she had to do, but this is a teen book. She is 18, 17, turning on 18. And so there were a lot of things that were very relatable for a teenager. And reading this, I could relate to her in so many ways, being young and impulsive and naive and selfish at times. So I think it was very relatable. I think she was very relatable. Um, so I I'm kind of, with the way that it ended, I'm at a loss as well, because it's not really the way that I saw it end. So it was it was very dramatic. This is a spoiler video. So, and then I said earlier that I was predicting that Hawk was Jude. I was half right in predicting that because Jude is Hawk's brother. So Jude is Hawk, but not the Hawk that is sending her messages. So yeah, what's next? I don't know. How are they going to build a bridge? Um, I mean, what's going to happen? Like, is Solomon is the other Hawk, is Solomon going to help her? Where does Tawny come in? Is Tawny going to be a part in this? And are they going to let Willow go? Now Elm is on the other side of the wall without Willow. There's so many questions now. I mean, a lot of questions were answered, but there's a lot more questions. I think my favorite character in this book is Willow. I think she was very sweet and very patient and kind, but I think she was very independent as well. She's like, I want to do it. Also, she's like 11 years old, but I liked Willow's character, and I liked her added in. At first I was like, why is she following them? Why is she in here? But I liked I liked her story, and if she was not following them, if she was not with them in this journey, she would not be compelled to build this bridge for the radicals coming over on the other from the other side. So I think it was important for her to come on this journey with them, because of that fact, and to build that relationship and to have that love between Parvin and Willow. Overall, I thought it was a great story. I thought it was a great book. And I would have loved it when I was a teenager. So I marked it down as 5 stars. I will be reading this series and I will be reading more from this author. So I'm very pleased with how it turned out. So thanks for following me along on this journey of reading this book. Yeah, hope you liked following it along.